So the word activist has been just drugged through the mud here.
Drug through the mud. Is that a word? Is that how you say that, baby? Let's listen to this again.
Just drugged through the mud here in America. And I'm not sure why, because most of us, definitely me, but probably you too, are an activist. Activism is far more common than you might think. So let's talk about that. Hey humans, I'm Biasia, and welcome to The Activist Teacher. So the caricature of an activist is partly to blame for why Americans sort of feel cringy when someone calls them an activist. Not if you're me though. I love being called an activist. It has to do with how we've looked at activists throughout American history. Some people view activists as always looking for the camera and always trying to get on TV. But I'm like, wait a minute. I'm an activist. I'm not trying to be on TV, but I did start a YouTube channel. Because activists agitate, we bring up things that are just uncomfortable truths about our society because we want to change them. People tend to get upset. So board members, principals, managers, we can certainly add all levels of city government to this list. So police chiefs, judges, city council people. Basically, if we elected you to do a job and you aren't doing it, activists are going to let you know. They kind of slap this label of activists on us as if it's some sort of badge of defeat or something to be afraid of. And there are a lot of people, even teachers, I'm sad to say, there are a lot of us who don't want to be called an activist. We don't want to be labeled as someone who advocates for people. What a crazy world. You know, I'm not the only person that has thoughts on activism. Shocker. So I asked a few of my friends and comrades what they thought it meant to be an activist. The first person I asked was Susan. She is the activist coordinator for the awesome organization that I'm a part of, RFKCMO. Here's what she had to say.
To answer the question, is activism a bad word? I would have to say it depends on your perspective. If you are happy with the status quo and things are benefiting your life, you probably don't appreciate people coming in and trying to make changes. However, if you are wanting to make changes in political policy and social issues, then using your voice as a citizen activist is a great thing to do. You don't have to be an immigrant to fight for immigrant rights, or a child to fight for child rights, or a woman to fight for women's rights, or you don't have to have a minimum wage job to fight for an increase in the minimum wage. All of those things are issues that benefit everyone, and it's just a fight for dignity, respect, and equality. In our work at Our Revolution Kansas City, we're trying to connect groups that are already doing the work with people who are interested in helping them find what they're passionate in and help other groups make changes through activism.
You know, it really sucks that when you try to stand up for yourself, or when you try to stand up for people who just don't have the ability to stand up for themselves, you're labeled a bad guy. You know, if you're an activist, I mean, it feels like someone is attacking you. Or if you're an activist, it feels like you always have to be on the defensive. But the truth is, if you're an activist, you're doing the right thing. Right? We need people to stand up for people who can't stand up for themselves. And even though it might make people at the top a little pissed off about it, that's okay. That's okay. So I asked Essence what she thought about the word activism, and not just because she's my daughter. I wanted to know what she thought as a young college-bound, well, she's in college, as a young college student. I wanted to know how the word has changed in its perception through the generations, and I liked what she had to say.
Activism has a bad reputation, and I understand why, and it's because of its tie to politics. And everything is political: taxes, buying groceries, paying rent or your mortgage, etc. But activism is much more than politics. Activism is being an advocate for yourself and the needs of your community. Activism is about a collective drive for a better world and making sure that all of us are taken care of.
So let's make a short list of things that are considered activist behavior, and I want you to see if you find yourself in them. So if you've ever signed a petition so that something can be enacted in your city or in your state, congratulations, you're an activist. If you've ever participated in a rally, a protest, or a strike, you are participating in activist behavior, and don't shy away from it. We love it. If you've ever donated money to help a family that is in need in your local community or at your church, your synagogue, your mosque, congratulations, you're an activist. Do I need to go on? Like, are you with me? You are definitely an activist. Okay, it's side note time.
So I started this video by asking all of the Black and brown people I knew that would be willing to go on camera to go ahead and please, please, please say what they think about activism for me. And that didn't work out so well. You know, people are busy, they can't do things. And I'm starting a YouTube channel. I'm the only one who cares about that. But I'm grateful for Susan, and I'm also grateful for my friend Carrie. She is an activist and an ally, and I thought having her voice on the channel would be really important, not just for people who want to learn about activism, but really for white allies who want to get into the activist conversation. So I tacked her in. Here she is.
I think a major pitfall of white female activism is that we tend to hog the stage. So one of my goals as an activist is to metaphorically tap the mic. Can I get everyone's attention? And then, let's listen to what my friend has to say. My not straight, not white, not middle class, not English speaking friend has to say. So I think one of the pitfalls of white activism is stage hogging, and where you are trying to do the right thing, but what you're ending up doing is using a white voice to talk about Black, brown issues, indigenous issues, LGBTQ issues. And that's not okay. What you should do is in my opinion, is flex your privilege and end up clearing the airspace for people who have largely been underrepresented in activist communities and conversations.
And we know that COVID has really changed the way we live here in America and around the world. So you can be an activist while sitting in your pajamas and watching TV. And a lot of us are. I think activism is evolving. And in the same way activism is evolving, we also need to evolve the way that we think about the word, the way that we think about the concept of activism, and the people that we consider activists. And if you really want to get involved and get out there, then grab your mask and join an organization that gets out there and actually tries to have some conversations on the ground with people. I think it's really important for us to rally around people who need our help. And right now, the number of people that need our help in America is huge. It's larger than I think it's ever been. So yeah, go out and be an activist, because your city, your community needs you. So if you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button if you like my particular form of insanity, so that you can get more of it next time.